Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Ultimate Wellness Group Transformation Tuesday. We got a special edition for you today. We're going to be discussing spiritual mental health in a time of the plague. All right, so we have a wonderful show. I'm thankful that you all have decided to spend a little of your Tuesday evening with us. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah. I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I further bear witness that God came in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad, taught for 3.5 years, 3 years and 4 months, should I say accurately. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in turn gave us 5 books from all the information that he learned from God in person in 3 years and 4 months. He gave us 5 books to study. And he also left us a person to help us understand that, and that would be Minister Louis Farrakhan. In their names, I greet you all in the wonderful words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum. When we are opening up, you all for spending some of your time with us this Tuesday evening. Got a wonderful show for you all today. So let's get ready. We're going to be highly, I believe, inspired because, sometimes when things excite you, you got to spread it to other people, right? You can't keep it to yourself. And in all honesty, that's what happened. I got some information and I can't keep it to myself. So before I go anywhere else, I want to just give a few shout outs, and then I want to open up with a little something from How to Eat to Live, and then we're going to get started. Okay. Sean Muhammad, Maxine Bland, East Instructor, Michelle Muhammad, Gary Jackson, Clarence Muhammad, Cheryl X, Gloria Jones Miller, Lawrence Muhammad, Pamela Bashir. Assalamu alaikum to everybody. Thank you for coming in. Ramadan Mubarak for all that are celebrating our fast with us. And again, I am going to invite everybody that may not necessarily consider themselves a Muslim, or you do, let's say claim or profess another religion. We still like you to do Ramadan with us while you study whatever it is in your book and we study our book. We correlate with each other, and let's get rid of all this stuff that seems to pull us away as a people and start to grow this unity that we're going to need in the days and the times that come. And Drew, Janine, and Pure Black, thank you for coming in. So again, I'm going to just read a couple of things out of How to Eat to Live, and then we're going to get directly into what we came here for today. Well, I guess we did come here for this too, right? So here's a statement out of Book 2, How to Eat to Live, in the introduction. This is Abbas Rasul. And he says, in the wisdom of Allah given to us in the book, How to Eat to Live, Volume 1 by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, exhibits the power of the black man's God to take a people in the lowest condition of life, and by the regulation of their dietary habits, raise them to a higher spiritual and physical condition. And so why did I say that? Because during Ramadan, I'm rereading How to Eat to Live, Book 1 and Book 2. And it seems like every time I open them up, there's some new statement, some new page that I didn't realize was there before. The book is so profound. And so if you have been listening to my shows, I think you can attest to the fact that I am giving information that I would not have been able to give with the things I learned in medical school and the training that I got by, being the understudy of other doctors. Sanai X and Gloria Jones, thank you for coming in. And so I just wanted to start with that. And then there are 2 other statements I would like to read, and then we will move on. OK, this is Book 1, page 103. Right. There's 2 books, Book 1 and Book 2. So this is Book 1, page 103. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad writes, the wisdom that he teaches us, he meaning Master Farrakhan Muhammad, is the wisdom of God and of the gods. So those of you who may be a little confused by that statement, if you go to Revelations, it talks about the elders, the 24 elders. That's what we're talking about. This is using God, that use elder. But in the Bible, it says, ye are all God's children of the Most High God, right? So we're still talking the same language. It is supreme wisdom because it is above and far ahead of what we have ever heard and what we see practiced by others today. Should we not obey that which is good for us when we are members of the nation of good? Why should we not practice that which is good for us? And so why did I mention that? Because I think it's very important for people, as I say on a consistent basis, you know, when I come here and I talk, I am trying to take 30, 20 something years of study, of practice, and trying to put it in a way to help you all understand, because I want you to be empowered to take control of your own health and not rely on other people whose first idea is how much money they're going to get. I hope that makes sense. And so when I talk about how to eat to live, it's what revolutionized everything. And so when you are hearing information from other people, start to do your own investigation, right? If you're going to go buy a new car, you're going to investigate, what class of car is this? What other cars does this compare to? Why is this one better? What is the value going to be in 10 years from now? What does the blue book say that the value is now in these cars compared to each other? What does the book say of whether or not this car performs better than other ones? Does it make sense? So we should be doing the same thing when we come online during these times and we're looking at some of these doctors. Well, if you're sitting on the screen talking about health and you look like you're about to die tomorrow, that might not necessarily be the person to listen to. And I pray that I'm working hard enough to be the type of example that is not that. Okay, last point. Page 102 in book 1. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, we must take this teaching of eating once a day binding upon us as a law in order to get any good from it as Allah God desires. The purpose of these dietary laws in a time that we should partake of food is to lengthen our lives by ridding us of the greedy desire to eat 3 times a day and between meals if we are offered food. So I think that's a pretty powerful statement. And why did I decide to say that today? Because I'm noticing how many pop-ups of food. And when I do watch TV, I don't watch a lot of TV, but when I do watch TV, you see these fast food companies marketing to us as if they're really there to help us. Their food can't help you, but yet they are on this marketing madness of making us believe that they still have something good for us. We should be taking this time to decipher those things, but all of that is offering of food. If you're driving down the highway and you see a billboard, that's the offering of you food. If you're on social media on your phone and you see a pop-up of something, that's offering food. And so those of us who are practicing Ramadan, the strength that it takes to combat that for 30 days, the strength that it takes to divert your attention to something else for 30 days is the same thing that we'll have to do after this is over, because we want long life. We want sickless days. That's going to come from this teaching. And so we have to be able to take this discipline that we're doing now. And that's why it's so good for anybody to enjoy it and do it with us. We got 18 days left. 18 days of sacrificing and disciplining yourself for anything will benefit you and make you better at the end. Hope that makes sense. That's why I wanted to bring that up today. Okay. So first thing we're going to do today, I'm going to give a little shout out, and then I got a special presentation, and then we're going to get into another special presentation. So let me just shout out a couple people. Cheryl X, George Allen, Daryl Alston, Eunice Johnson, Joseph Muhammad, T. Farrell, Kennard Young, Joseph, Chef Daryl Sauce. Thank you all for coming in. Appreciate you spending some time to hear Eugene. Assalamu alaikum to all of you. Peace. Ramadan Mubarak if you're practicing Ramadan. And let's get into this, share this screen so I can get something real quick. So this happens to be one of my real good friend's son. And he is part of this. Basically, it is what we would consider charity, right? He is doing artist murals in Chicago for the healthcare workers that are, of course, risking their life and doing what's necessary in the hospitals and the healthcare facilities. And out of the kindness of his heart, he and some others came together to do murals in the city to pay homage to some of these people. And so I'm just showing a little something here, right? If you see the the site up there, it's muralsformedicalrelief.com. And I can put it in a comment section so you all can see it. But I just wanted to show a little something. The subject matter for today is spiritual mental health. And I say all the time that as a physician, the times in my life where I have felt and had the biggest high, higher than any drug could ever get me, the best feeling in the world is when you do something for somebody and there's nothing coming back. I've stopped on the side of the road and helped an elderly lady, or just a lady in general, change her tire. And I remember one day this lady tried to offer me $20 and I didn't take it. I said, ma'am, I didn't do that for any money. I did that because you were in need and I just wanted to help you. And I left there feeling so good about myself. And so that is why I'm sharing this today, because I believe that we're in a time in this world where there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, right? But at the end of the day, we have to keep our minds focused sometimes on these positive things. And so here's his website. It's the letter D, white, like the color, art.com. I know his mother and father very, very well, Dwight and Wanda White. And, when a young man comes into the world and starts doing these type of things, it's because his parents did something good, something right. I'm not trying to paint anybody as perfect, nor myself, but it's a beautiful young man, a beautiful spirit. And the things that he does, of course, he's trying to make a living for himself, but he's also trying to just show homage and care and concern for his community. He's always giving homage to God. So I just wanted to point that out. I think the brother is doing a wonderful job. Somebody that's making me proud. I don't get any money from him. I just wanted to shout him out because I think he's doing a wonderful job as a young man in showing us some positive things in a time where there's so much negativity. Does that make sense? I hope y'all understand why I did that. We have a wonderful show. Okay, so that was that's the reason, y'all. Just because I know that we are in a time when a lot of what we're getting on a regular everyday basis, even when we try to pull away from it, we can't get away from it. You go sign into your bank app, something comes up about this virus, right? You go, anything that you do, there's going to be some information that brings you back to the reality of what's happening. So we have to also find a way to go to some places where we can get some things that really bring us some beauty and some loveliness, right? And so guess what? I got somebody else coming up right here next that I think gonna put a smile on all your face. My smile was so big, I think I broke a couple of cheekbones first time I saw this. Carlton Walker, Kennard Young says, this is my first Ramadan. It's a blessing. Man, that's beautiful, bro. Hey, as the show goes on, tell us a little more about what you've experienced, man. I would love to hear that. Raheem Elijah, Assalamu alaikum. Roger Barnes, appreciated my college buddy for coming in. Pamela says, that's beautiful, very creative. Yes. Do you have the link? Yes, I will put the link up. The link to all of the websites and everybody that I'm talking to today, I will put up at the end. Danny Muhammad, thank you for coming in. Kaiser Rosier, thank you for coming in. Roger, good encouragement, very much needed. Yes, thank you, bro. And so let me go ahead and bring in my next brother, my brothers. There they go. You see him up there? That's my young brother and his father, brother Raphael. Assalamu alaikum, my brothers.
Salam, Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak Kareem. Man, it's so good to finally have you on the show. And I realized something about you, bro. I'm talking about my young brother now. I've seen you at Savior's Day, bro. So we've passed by each other before. Yes. Let me just tell you all a little about why I wanted to have this brother. I'm going to let him tell a little about himself. But my brother, William Muhammad, sent me his link. And I looked at it. And I'll just be honest, it was a couple of days before I looked at it because I'm just busy. And I said, yeah, I'll check that out. When I finally got to it and I realized that this young brother had invented something that is just, I mean, the word brilliant probably don't do good enough. But this young brother that you all are looking at, the one on the left with the hair, that's the young one I'm talking about, not the bald-headed brother. Invented something. Y'all, so before I let him introduce himself, I want to pull up his website and let y'all just take a look at what he invented. 12 years young. And this is what he invented. It's called the Safe Touch Pro Handle. And you can see I'm messing it up. Let me put this back up a little bit. It's not, oh, okay. So there you can see the little handle, getting the doorknob, getting that handle. And it also, you can use it at the ATM machine. So, I mean, it's just a wonderful product, y'all. And just want to tell you all before anybody gets anything in their head, I'm not making any money off of this. But what I want to do is get some support for this young brother. It's a beautiful idea. In a time, again, when we're dealing with so much negativity, it just brought such happiness to my heart to see that a young man can do something so beautiful. And I'll let him explain this right here. You see this says plant-based plastic and silver ion protected. His father told me the reality behind that, but I want to let him tell you all. So again, I will put up the website at the end so that you all can go and look at it yourself. But for right now, I want to put them back on the screen so they can tell us a little something about it. So Brother Mazan or Brother Raphael, whoever wants to go first, tell us a little bit about, you all, and then get into how did this beautiful idea come into fruition?
Yes, sir. As far as we're believers, Mosque number 26 here in San Francisco, under the leadership of Regional Minister Brother Abdul Rashidullah. And basically, my son has always had an insatiable appetite for learning, and quite a bit over the years. And my wife and I have assisted him, and likewise have believers supported. And this time around, he came up with an idea in the midst of the pandemic, and started on eBay. I think he can take it from there, So yes.
So how did you come to that idea, my brother? Because I hear it was your idea. It's not like you were poking in, your daddy was over there trying to do something. You was peeking over a soldier. This is your idea, right?
Well, I was seeing my parents use their sleeves to open doors, and I wanted to find a safer and to open doors. So I invented the hook. To open doors.
Wow. Okay, so my understanding is that you produced one, and then you actually improved it and did the second one, which has that silver in it. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. So the silver ions, they kill germs instantly. It's the same technology that hospitals use. It's faster than other competitors out there because those take up to 4 hours to kill germs, and ours have silver ions inside of it.
Wow. Now, I know I talk sometimes about colloidal silver, right? A lot of people use colloidal silver as a way to help the body fight diseases that are in them, right? And so at a very Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I had some technical difficulties. I apologize. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Okay, I guess you didn't hear my last question. I was asking before everything got interrupted. I know silver in small amounts do very good with the human body as far as helping build the immune system and fight germs and things of that nature. So what is the background to why silver works well in your product?
So the silver we have inside, the silver breaks the bacteria cell walls and kills bacteria.
Wow.
And stops it from reproducing.
Got you. Okay, so what else would you like to say? Go ahead and do your marketing ploy, man. You got a bunch of people listening to you, so go ahead and tell them why they should get this product and why you think it is something that everybody in America see. What I'm trying to do is make you a millionaire, bro. And by the way, I ain't getting no money. They ain't paying me for this. I want to see this young man become a millionaire. Why? Because as a people, we have notoriously been taken into companies and taken into colleges, and they take our most brilliant minds and to go and use them and sign them contract in these companies where you sign away all of your, beautiful ideas that come within you. You have to sign that over to a company. You can't get any rights. And so I know for a fact, just talking to your father on very short period that we did the other day, that you have excellent parents that are raising you. But literally, the reason why I want to do this show, everybody, is because I want to see this brother become a millionaire, literally. Because if he's doing something like this at 12, imagine what he's going to be doing at 16. Imagine what he's going to be doing at 19. Imagine what he's going to be doing at 24. We have to do the best we can to make this brother successful so that he can be free to do the type of things that will always allow him to get all of the accolades and all of the benefit from what comes out of his beautiful mind. So go ahead and do your plug, bro. Whatever you want to say.
My handle here is made out of a plant-based plastic, which consists of corn. It's cornstarch. So it's also compostable, which means it's not just biodegradable, but also good for the earth. You can also use this handle because my mom goes to Target a lot. You can use the handle to open freezer doors and use it at ATMs and more.
Okay. Wow. So, Brother Daddy, you have anything you want to say?
Thank you for allowing him to speak and bringing us on. I was going to say, as far as if anyone wants to, purchase one, you want to let them know where they can.
You can purchase one at safetouchprohandle.com.
Yeah.
And again, I will put the website at the end for anybody that's interested. Let's support this brother, y'all. Let's make sure that this brother is successful. Okay. And that's what we do here at the Ultimate Wellness Group, Transformation Tuesday. We want to give you news that you can use. And, at the same time, we are all growing individually. We have to start killing all the myths out there. So we're not even going to talk about the myths. Black people do wonderful things together. Those of you who have watched my shows over the last couple of weekends, I've been on a show with 3 other fantastic brothers, and you see no arguments. You see no disagreements. And that's not just happening on camera. We don't have those problems behind camera. If we do have anything that we disagree with, we have wonderful conversations and we come to our agreements. And so as Black people, we're looking at our future right here. And so let's support these young people when they have these type of ideas, because without us, they have to turn to some other alternatives. So Brother Raphael, could you just quickly just kind of maybe talk about that whole reality that I mentioned about the, going to college and winding up in these corporate America jobs and how are you kind of, directing your son as far as this beautiful spirit and of course this creativeness that he has?
Yes, sir. As far as I'm always one to speak on ownership. That's one thing that I would always reiterate to him: ownership. So it's not so much working for a particular company. We're really in the midst of Silicon Valley. I worked in tech for some years. He's gotten the experience to work at many of these companies. Go to many of these companies that I've gone to, but I've always told him ownership is key. And as far as you can't drive that enough. I've seen many people. There's a lot of us in Silicon Valley, and you'd be surprised. We're running a lot of things, but we're at the same time being controlled, and a lot of great ideas. So I have to say, I certainly push him to be, you know, an entrepreneur, as well as, you know, to continue to do what he enjoys doing. He's a tinkerer. You know, he likes to experiment. You know, one thing as well, we try to make sure we push, you know, books and reading. That's
Yes,
one
sir.
thing that we drive. I can't express how important it is to, you know, to read, to have conversation. You know, intellectual conversation, you know, challenge, you know, him to think, you know, and that goes for my daughter and also our youngest son as well, all three children. But you're absolutely right. You know, many colleges, you know, they'll take the best minds, either discourage them, and those who do make it, once they get into corporate America, really kind of suck a lot of the ideas. So you're absolutely right. You spoke on it perfectly.
Yes, sir. And I know, you know, I haven't worked a lot of jobs in my life after finishing medical school, but I know the ones that I did. There's a clause in the contract that says if you have any like new ideas, if you come up with any inventions while you work here, that is the property of this company. You know, and that really is stealing people's God's gift. You know what I mean? So it's
Yes.
it's just a beautiful thing, bro. I mean, like I said about my other friend's son and your son, you know, when we look at young men like your son, we can tell that they came from some good stock. So thank you to you and everything that you've done, the hard work that you've put in to raise
Yes,
this
sir.
young man and to be a part of his life. And brother, I'm proud of you, bro. And you know, I was going to try to actually buy one in front of everybody, but there's a little too much going on. But I'm telling you, I'm giving you my word. I'm going to buy one for my mother. I'm going to buy one for myself, my daughter, and my wife, because I'm going to keep my word. I'm going to support you. I'm not just going to talk this. I'm going to support it. And I'm going to continue to promote you, my brother, because I'm honest. And when I say I want to see you become a millionaire, a billionaire, because I can only imagine. And I'm gonna tell you something else. When I was taking my shower, I was thinking about you. I said, man, I got a couple ideas. So when I come back to California, I'm not gonna put it over, you know, emailing it like that, because I don't want anybody to steal it. But I'm gonna come to you with my ideas, and maybe we can make some things together, man, and change the world together. All right.
I want to mention. So
yes, sir.
He actually does the 3D printing here in his room. So he has a number of 3D printers. So the manufacturing is actually happening here in his room. So had to scale production just due to the demand. Still looking to expand. So he didn't do that part. So he's doing the 3D printing. I know nothing about 3D printing. What the software you use?
It's called Tinkercad. It's a web-based CAD program.
Yeah, so he's in CAD, a number of things. Also, I think you put the Raspberry Pi to kind of look at. So he's even worked just to see that efficiency and the manufacturing is going well and the quality. Can you talk about what you did?
So I have a Raspberry Pi, which is a credit card-sized computer, and I am able to monitor my 3D printers from anywhere in the world.
Wow. Hey, I don't know if all of you that are listening, if you heard, I said the dude was 12, not 40. He's 12. That's amazing, man. You blowing my mind away, man. So I'm gonna tell you what, we're gonna have to have you back one day, and we're gonna do a show on innovation and ideas. How about that? You willing to do that?
Yes, sir.
I had to have you on today, but I'd love to have you back, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all coming on the show, and I'll talk to you all soon. All right.
God bless you. Assalamualaikum.
You as well. Walaikum salam. All right, y'all. I'm sure you all can tell why I was so happy and so energetic about bringing that on the show. I'm sure you all can tell. I got a little something else I wanted to show you all too. It's sometimes we have influences on people, right? And sometimes other people have influences on people, but I wanted to show you all this right here. This is a young lady here in Houston. Her name is Hon Min Muhammad. And these four young ladies came together. That's Hania in the upper left. That's Aya in the upper right. At the bottom right is Hani. I'm sorry. At the upper top left is Sania. The upper right is Aya. The bottom right is Hania. And the bottom left is Kudisa. These are all high school students. And they had a presentation the other day on COVID-19 and how the youth were handling it. They opened up their program talking about the immune system. And when I tell you they did an excellent job of describing the immune system, I mean, I learned some stuff listening to them. So I just wanted to kind of get him a shout out too. If you all get a chance, go check it out. Hon Min Muhammad's Facebook page. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, they gave some great advice and just talking through some situations that they are all dealing with themselves. And I just thought it was just beautiful to hear. Because again, you know, when we as adults are in this world, I think sometimes we have a tendency to think that, okay, I'm the adult, I can tell I tell them what to do, it's my lead, yada yada yada. But as you can see, we have some beautiful people doing some beautiful things, and they're not but young folks, right? And so we have to have our minds open to learn from young people. You know, right now I'm taking a class from Brother Ben X. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about Brother Ben X. And in his class, he talks about the fact that if a man is 60 and he's on social media and not doing too well, but you're too arrogant to listen to a brother that's half your age teach you how to do it, then that would that literally is what that would be, right? That would be arrogance. That would be foolish on our part not to be able to take some information and learn from it. And so I just wanted to get at brother as well, a shout out, Brother Ben X, doing some wonderful things. So he's on Instagram, he's on YouTube, and he's on Facebook, all under the Brother Ben X. And his course is beautiful. I think I'm in either at the end of the second or starting the third week. And the information is just wonderful. So as you all see me making some changes and making some improvements, I would say to this point right here, a lot of that is because of the influence of Brother Ben X. And he's made things much better. Okay. Y'all give me just a second. I'm trying to get things together for our next guest, so we can move forward with the show. So let me see what we got here as far as comments and a few shout outs. My brother Roderick Barnes said he's ordering a few tonight. That's what I'm talking about, man. Aisha, great to have children who can express their creativity. That's right. Love seeing brilliance and entrepreneurial spirit at such a young age. Nice job, parents. That's right. Alexander Tyrone says, peace and blessings, looking radiant, my dear brother. Well, praise be to Allah, man. I appreciate that, my brother. I'm trying to, continue to be a conduit of the things that I talk about. So if you see anything beneficial in me, let's give the praise where it goes. That's to God and to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? Because without him, I don't believe I would have much to say. But I'm glad you all enjoyed. I see that you all were as inspired by that young man as I was. Eunice Johnson says, so heartwarming to see so many young, intelligent minds. Absolutely. And that's the way that we can move into the future and know that we're going to be secure and well, because we see this such greatness, brilliance in our young people. I mean, when I was listening to those four young ladies, Sania, Hania, Aya, and Kudisa, talk about health, and then they started discussing about the difficulty factor of not being able to physically be with their friends, and then what this has done as far as, reaching out to modalities like this, but also the things that they have been able to accomplish since this whole thing has happened. So they've been able to, get back on a piano and get back to reading and, some ideas that they have. And it's the same with me. I'm not going to mention them all today, but since this thing has happened, I have gotten a chance to concentrate on some things that I have been working at for a while, but they are coming to a fruition. So I'm thankful the fact that I believe that I have a spiritual mental health going through this, because I'm trying to stay on point and always be a conduit of some positivity instead of being bringing down. Cheryl Brown says she's ordering now. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, shout out to Brother Ben X, Kennard Young says. April Muhammad, thank you for coming in. John Lucia says the information on where to purchase raw milk. And Dr. Rusty Muhammad said it should be from A2 cows. Yeah, that's the subject we'll have to get into, bro. We're not gonna go there today, but I definitely will answer that question. You all give me just a second, okay? Apologize, y'all. We're working on getting our next guest to come in. So I think it's a wonderful thing, to be able to be an example. I am, striving every day. I'll tell you a funny story real quick. Last night, yesterday was my fast day, right? So during Ramadan, I don't stop. I think if anybody saw my show with Brandon, during Ramadan, he continues doing one meal every 3 days, and I continue doing one meal every 2 days. And it's not necessarily always easy. Sometimes it's a challenge, right? And so yesterday, I was sitting with my wife as she was eating, and she had her plate in her hand. We were sitting on the couch together. And I started having reminiscent of that old Martin show. Y'all remember when Martin was on that fast, or he was doing that workout? He was only eating certain things, right? And there was that food on the table, and he was crawling up to the table. I started thinking about that. I was looking at her plate, and it smelled so good, and my mouth started watering. And I'm just thinking, with God that I didn't give into that temptation. But I mean, it is a challenging reality. But I think I said earlier this year on one of my programs, I said, I knew that there were some things that were going on in my life, and I fell into getting out of my discipline as far as eating. And so I had gained some weight, but I think you all can see it's starting to come off. I'm starting to get back.
It's better.
Okay, so he's on the way to coming in. Okay, and so I think you all are starting to see. I'm starting to thin out. I'm seeing it, that I'm getting back to what I expect. And like I've said in past, the reason why I went from one meal a day, which my wife and I agreed I was doing about 85%. I didn't have any problems. I was feeling good. My mind was sharp, all those type of things, but I just felt like I had too much weight. That's when I changed and went to one meal every other day. And I also wanted to mention one other thing, because, a lot of people, when they talk about how to eat to live, they say that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, once you master one meal a day, you go to one meal every other day. And he never used those words. Here's his statement in book 2 on page 8. He says, when you are used to eating one meal a day, then eat one meal every other day. And that's consistent what he says in book 1 and book 2. He never told us to master one meal a day. And so I'm just saying that because I got to a point where I felt like I was doing one meal a day pretty good, but the weight that I had, I felt was just a little too much. And when I started doing one meal every other day, I felt like that's exactly where I wanted to be. Sharpness of the mind, no pain. Even when I injure myself sometimes, like I did today, I was messing with this pot of aloe vera and I sliced my finger. But in a couple of days, this would be almost totally healed. That's how fast my body heals. When I'm out exercising or doing work sometimes, and I may injure myself, heal very quickly. And so these teachings of how to eat to live, that's the reason why I promote it so much, is why I talk about it all the time, because I didn't get this type of information in medical school, nor in college, nor by any doctor, to fast, to eat one meal a day or one meal every other day and certain type of foods. No, that was never taught to me in any of these so-called places of higher learning. When I read this book, How to Eat to Live, and it started to teach me these things. And as my brother gave me that compliment, I'm thankful for that compliment. But imagine when this starts happening to yourself and you're looking in the mirror at yourself, right? Because I used to always say back in the day that I could tell by my body size that I knew there was a limit to how big I could get. And I remember looking in the mirror one day after getting out the shower, I'd be like, man, what the hell happened? You let yourself go. And that was approximately the same time I was working on How to Eat to Live, and it got me where I wanted to be. So it's a reality that I haven't seen matched in any other way. Taylor Made Natural Everyday said, are the murder hornets a real thing? I'm terrified of bugs. I'm not sure what you're talking about, sister. I think I did see somebody today talking about some type of bug thing, but I don't know anything about any murder hornets. So I have to check that out at another time. Cheryl West, you talking about that Martin Lawrence episode. Yeah, that was funny. You had me on the floor. Sharon Crockett, thanks for coming in. Good to see you. Solomon Tafari, thank you for coming in. He said, once you get to every 3, don't go back. Excellent point, my brother, because yes, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad mentions on multiple occasions when he talks about eating 1 meal every other day or 1 meal every 3 days, that it's not good to go in that direction and then go back, right? And so that is something that we should all be doing in our own efforts, our own evaluation of ourselves. When I sit and I talk to people personally about their health journey, I always talk about making sure that we concentrate on the communication that's coming from within ourselves. You know, I was talking with somebody yesterday, and the person was telling me about they have a PhD of themselves. They're a master of themselves. That's true. Every single one of us, no matter who you trust your health journey to, whoever the person is, don't ever let that person not let you know that you are the main one in control. What you are getting as a communication is much more important than what my stethoscope tells me, or what the blood pressure cuff says, or what the blood work says. You are the conduit in this communication. And so we have to learn how to do that, right? And that's the importance of, I tell people that when I wake up in the morning, I don't just jump up out of bed and just go. I get up, sit on the side of my bed, and ask myself a couple of questions. How do you feel? Do you feel like you slept well? Do you have enough energy to tackle this day that you're going through? I ask myself a few questions because what I want to do is evaluate myself every day, because I know what I did yesterday. I know what I ate yesterday. I know if I fasted yesterday, what I'm expecting the next day, right? And so we all have to do the same thing. What happens with the stuff in the corner of your eye? What does your breath smell like? What is your, when you go to the bathroom? Huh?
He doesn't have the link. Can you resend it to?
I'm sorry, y'all. I got to send this link again. But all of those things are communications that we have. What does your stool look like when you go to the bathroom? What does the stool do when you go to the bathroom? Does it float? Does it sink? Does it fall apart? All of these are things. Is that correct? All of these are things that are communications. Can you check and see if that's correct? All of these are things that are communications that we have to be able to decipher, right? If you wake up in the morning and your joints are stiff, if you wake up in the morning and your hands are stiff, some days that happens, some days that doesn't happen. That usually has something to do with your lymph system. But at the end of the day, we have to know, what is that saying to you? And how can you take what's happening today and evaluate what happened yesterday, right? Because if you wake up in the morning and your hands are stiff and they kind of feel like this and you got to work them before you get going in your day, is that arthritis or is that your lymph system? And how can you tell the difference? In people that have arthritis, you get up in the morning and your hips or your ankles are stiff. What is the reason that once you get to moving that it feels a lot better? I just need to email address. I can put it in here. That's not?
It needs to be an I in the middle of.
So the one you put there is correct? Okay. I apologize, y'all. Let me put this email in here and I'll get right back to this. We got our guest coming in. That's the one right here that I sent it to.
Sir?
At AOL? Yeah, I just sent, that's the one I sent it to.
MINISH
Yeah.
MAEL.
Yes. Okay, I apologize, y'all, but back to the communication. The communication of our body is where you become the steward and the best knower of what's happening within your skin, right? And so when you go to a doctor and they start asking you questions and they come to their own conclusion, you still have the right to say yeah or no. You know what I mean? You don't have to agree with somebody. You're paying that physician. It's no different than when you go to the restaurant, right? If they don't get your food right, you're not going to stay there. You're not going to continue coming back to that place. So let's make sure that we're staying in charge of our health. And just because you go and spend your money at a doctor doesn't put them in charge. You're still in charge. That's your servant. That person should be serving you. So if you know something about your body, you can't let anybody tell you something different. And I am for sure that that is true when it comes to children as well. Because I know Troy X, thank you for coming in. Jamila Workout Lasker, thank you for coming in. Zena Hayes, good evening. For those of you who are parents, Clint Bastion, Assalamu alaikum. Salima Shablaz, thank you for coming in. You know, it's very important for you as a parent to always stand on the confidence and the foundation that nobody knows your child like you. Nobody can tell you more about your child just because they went to school for more years than you did. You're with your child every day. You know how your child thinks. You can predict what your child's going to say, what your child's going to do. I know I've been able to predict my children. My father used to be able, my mother used to be able to predict things that I was going to do. So let's not ever lose that control. That is a control that we have to maintain, because in the medical society that we have right now that puts money over you, we have to make sure that we stay and maintain in a place where we don't let anybody take us somewhere where later we will regret, right? Salima Shabazz says, I need to go back and read. Can we drink something in between the three? Yes, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that we could have, you know, water, tea. I never said tea, coffee, but on multiple occasions, he says, don't drink juice, soda, don't drink, you know, snacks and candy and stuff like that in between meals. So if you decide to eat one meal every 2 days, or you decide to eat one meal every 3 days, those days that you don't eat, it should be just water and or coffee. And I'm not promoting coffee. I'm not saying coffee is bad, but I don't promote coffee. I don't drink coffee regularly, but when I want some, I drink some. Solomon Tafari says, I read in NCIB, fasting is believed to produce more beta hydroxybutyrate, which may be a signaling molecule that activates dormant genes. Yes, sir. I did. I talked about that in one of our other shows. Actually, it was in the Navy Bean show. Yes, butyrate is something that does a lot to benefit the GI system. So that's absolutely true, my brother. Pure Black. It's a 2-inch bee. First sting, you might survive. Second sting, death. Okay, well, to be honest, I don't know anything about that. I'd have to do some research before I can speak on that. I'm actually a beekeeper. So, of course, I do know a lot about bees, but I don't know anything about this bee or this killer, whatever we're talking about. So I'll have to do some research, and maybe we'll talk about that on another show. Manatee Smith, thank you for coming in. You say we are God's self-mastery. Absolutely. And that's very important, right? Nobody else can master you better. You can master yourself. And so it's time for us to start doing the things that can give us that that ability to stay in control, because that's really, to me, is the biggest thing when it comes to this health industry that we have in America. You know, I'll use the example of like people that go in for vaccines, right? You have these doctors that will tell a parent, if you don't vaccinate your child, you can't come back to my office. And I tell people, hey, well, what you should do is start packing up your bag and grab your child as fast as you can. And once you get out that office, call the insurance company and tell them you weren't satisfied with the visit, what the doctor told you, so that doctor doesn't get paid, because that doctor was probably still going to charge that insurance. But the biggest point that I'm getting to, if that somebody can't sit down and have a conversation with you about your child, about your health, and listen to you and what you have to say and what you know about your child, that's not the type of person that you want to trust with your health. I have people tell me things about themselves all the time, and I have to trust that. I have to put that over what I think. What I think comes based on what you say. I don't dictate to you what I think about you until I hear what you have to say. And then there may be some things in what you say that I say, okay, well, maybe we could try this. Maybe we could try this. Maybe this would be an improvement. But at the end of the day, we got to make sure that we keep that control. Never give your control in any situation to another person that hasn't proven that, right? If it's different if it's somebody that has proven that they have your best at their heart. Roger, be talking about them hornets again. Yes, Manatee God studied himself. Oh yeah, thank you, brother. Chef Daryl Sauce. He put the Safe Touch Pro handle up here. So again, I'm still going to put it at the end, but thank you, brother. I appreciate you putting that. He said he just ordered 10. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, man. I love y'all. I love y'all. Tailor-made natural. Tanya, Ramadan, Mubarak, Kareem. Seti Marina L, thank you for coming in. Rashid Irby, thank you for coming in. Greetings. Fitzroy Muhammad, thank you for coming in. You said, can you give me your professional thoughts on taking or finding moringa? Do you like it? Yes, we'll have to talk about that another time, bro. I'm waiting for somebody to come in. for the show. Actually, let me just go ahead and hit it while we're waiting. Moringa. I think moringa, based on the studies that I've done, moringa is excellent. It has wonderful properties. It has been used, of course, in the motherland for many, many different types of problems, and has shown a lot of progress. The point that I'll get to, like moringa, like anything else that I have researched, is that it's not anything that's extraordinary about this particular plant. And I don't mean that literally, but I'm saying, sometimes we put like this extraordinary attention on something like it's so much greater than other thing God makes. I don't necessarily think that. But when you take the moringa plant and you study the nutrients that's in it, the moringa plant has wonderful qualities and great things it will do to the body. My question is always, when it comes to moringa, when it comes to black seed oil, when it comes to things that come from so far away, the question is always, how does a plant maintain the benefits that it has when it has to be processed? Most people that get moringa in this country are getting it in some type of a container, some type of bag or something, meaning that somebody had to take it off the plant, process it in whatever way they do, chop it up, cut it up, put it in a bottle, whatever they do, and then they have to do what? Send it in a shipping container to here, and then it goes to a store. The whole time that all of those processes are happening, the deterioration is happening. What do I mean by that? You take a strawberry off of a plant. You take an olive off of a plant. You dig up a turnip. You take an orange off of a tree. If you pull a leaf off of a tree, what starts to happen? The dying process starts immediately. If I take a leaf off of any plant and put it on this table right here next to me, in a couple of days, it's going to start drying up and shriveling. Next thing, it's going to start turning brown. That is the dying process. And so when we're buying products, that's happening in that as well. I don't care how many preservatives they put in there. That essence of those nutrients is going into a dying perspective. And so when something comes from so far away from you and you put so much of your energy into that, this is good for me, I believe we should put the same energy, the same thought process, the same expectation into that strawberry that grows in your backyard, in the okra and the eggplant and the watermelon with seeds, and the things that you can grow in your backyard, the things that grow in the area where you live. I personally will have the ideology that that's a more healthy way to look at things. And so I hope everybody understands I'm not knocking black seed oil or moringa, but my understanding is that neither one of those plants grow well in the United States. And I haven't seen many people grow moringa here, period. I try to grow everything I get my hands on. And I haven't tried to grow moringa yet, but I've seen a few people try, and they definitely didn't have a lot of success. So, that would be my statement on moringa. It's a great plant, but, have confidence in those navy beans. Have confidence in that wheat bread that you're making. Have confidence in some whole milk that you buy from a farm in your area, and you ask the right questions. Though that would be where I would suggest people put their concentration on, because if your heart and soul and your mind and your spirit is in a product that comes from across the world, what happens when it comes to a point where we can't get it shipped over here anymore? Where would you put your confidence then? And see, if our confidence is in Allah, then we know that Allah is going to put something available wherever we are. There's something that grows in that place where you live that will give you the nutrients that will help to benefit your body. And lastly, on that point, let's start to break away from that ideology that I need so much. I got to have 50,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and I got to have all of this food and all that. How could that be true if we really believe the science that is out there that says the less you eat, the longer you live? The less you eat, the more you have reversal of disease. The less you eat, the better your body does. So the doing small amounts is better. Look at America. Most of America fat, bordering on 50% obese. So overindulgence is leading to sickness, disease. And so we have to start to understand that doing good things is good, but let's trust in what we can trust in our regions. And let's realize that when you have quality food that you grow or that somebody else has grown in a responsible way, you eat a good amount of that. Don't overdo it, but eat a good amount of that, and then let those long periods of time happen before your next meal so that those nutrients that you took in can get to work and doing the things that are going on in the human body and take it to a whole nother level. Hope that makes sense. May Helen, peace, my sister. No basil tea or other herb teas. I'm going to, like I said, I am rereading How to Eat to Live because, of course, I don't know everything. I still learn. I was reading the other day and I was like, man, when did Donald Elijah Muhammad put that page in the book? I used to make a statement that in between meals, you could drink water, coffee, or tea. And I was corrected recently. Somebody said he doesn't mention tea. And so I'm reading the book just for better understanding, but I will be able to answer your question after I go through the book. In book 1, he didn't mention tea. And so, I'll have to answer that question, if you don't mind, my brother, after I finish reading book 2, which will be at the end of Ramadan. Oh, Pure Black says, Doc, it kills bees. Explain to me what you're talking about, brother, because I really am not sure what you mean. I know you just mentioned something a minute ago, but I guess you're talking about maybe something that will help with these people talking about these hornets. Min Ishmael Muhammad, how you doing, sister? John Bettison, how you doing, my brother? Good to see you in. Sharmel X. Wa alaikum salam. Stacy B. Wa alaikum salam. Brother Kennard says, I'm sure it's your choice, but the messenger never said to drink tea. He said water and some coffee. Yes, sir. I agree. Humbert says, apparently peanuts are not really nuts. They are legumes. So are peanuts good for us to eat? Well, I can definitely tell you what he says about peanuts. Page 65, book 1. Eat the white part of cabbage and cauliflower. Stay off those peanuts, coconuts, and nuts, period. So after I read that, I stopped eating peanuts. So I believe I answered that question, right? Humbert, tailor-made. Do you have a podcast, Dr. Keeley? I thought this is a podcast. So I guess if I'm wrong, let me know. But I don't know what the difference in a podcast and this would be if I'm wrong. So please let me know, tailor-made. Ed Russell. Dr. Keeley, I started a garden this week because of your advice. Bill, wow. Bill Russell, my brother, how you doing, man? So appreciate you. Man, that's beautiful. Hey, look, y'all, I got to say this. I really believe that I'm doing this for all the right reasons. I really believe that I want to impart what God has blessed me with to help empower you. And see, it is statements like that and other statements that some of you are coming and you're telling me that just gives me so much energy and so much desire to continue to do these type of programs, because that's what it is. Brother Bill, you growing that garden and the food that you produce, when you bring that into your kitchen, it not only is going to give you so much satisfaction and so much peace within yourself, it's also going to be so nutritious that you're going to tell the difference. And so, I mean, that's why that means so much to me. I'm thankful. I mean, all the praise goes to the God, but I mean, that's just beautiful. I've had people come in and tell me that since they've been listening to my programs, that their medical problems are getting better. I had this one sister reach out to me and said that she has an autoimmune disorder. And, when she gave me this message, for 15 days, she had no pain and her whole problem was improving. My friend on here, Roderick Barnes, has listened to some of the advice. He and I go all the way back. We met maybe first couple of days of college, and we've been friends for all these years. So, I mean, those are the type of things that help keep my spirit and keep me continuing to want to come back and continue to do this. So, Bill, I sure appreciate you, bro. You're muted. Somebody, y'all let me know if you can hear me. Somebody said that they're muted. Hoyle Muhammad, Ramadan Mubarak Kareem, bro. Thank you for coming in. Assalamu alaikum. Cheryl Brown made a pot of navy beans yesterday. That's what I'm talking about. Miss Brown. Not Miss Jackson, but Miss Brown, huh? Come on now. Dr. Keeley, can you speak on the gut-brain axis and the microbiome? I read the majority of serotonin and immunity is actually produced in the gut, along with many other neurotransmitters. Blew my mind. Scientists are saying that the food you eat not only affects your health, but the health of the bacteria that live inside you. So what you feed your bacteria. What happened to that comment? So the food you eat not only affects your health, but the health of the bacteria that live inside you. So what you feed your bacteria matters. How to eat to live is deep. Yes, absolutely. And there was a statement. There are statements that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says in How to Eat to Live in both books, where he talks about the fact that how you treat the brain is how you treat the gut, and vice versa. Treat one good, you treat the other good. And it is largely part to the neurotransmitters, and also from the reality that what you put in your GI system is what is being broken down and what is feeding the brain. So both of those aspects, I think, are very important. Yes, we make a lot of serotonin. We make a lot of the neurotransmitters that are in the brain, in the gut. And so there is this balance that goes on between the two of them. And that's why it's so important for us to know what to eat, how to prepare them, and also giving the body time, right? So here's something that I think a lot of times people don't take in consideration. Sometimes we wake up in the morning and you've eaten at 6, 7 p.m. the night before. You wake up the next morning, you're burping, still tasting the food that you ate last night. Well, that means that food is still in the stomach being digested. How do you know that? Because once you move food out of the stomach into the intestines, it can't come back up into the stomach and the esophagus. Hope that makes sense. I don't have any pictures up right now, but that's a reality, okay? And so when we have something being digested in the stomach, it has to be finished, digested before it moves into the intestines. And there are ways that the body evaluates that. When that food goes down into the intestines and starts being absorbed, it's very, very, very small. And so it is a very intricate system that takes many, many hours to digest, to absorb. And then once we absorb it, that means we're pulling it into the bloodstream. So it's like going into a funnel, right? The intestines did all that it needs to do, deciphers what needs to come in, what doesn't, and it goes like into a siphon into the bloodstream. And now what does the bloodstream have to do? Take it everywhere where it's being asked to go. So the brain is still in control. The brain says, hey, the heart needs such and such. The kidneys need this. The muscles need this. The bones need that. And so now the brain has the blood taking what needs to go where it needs to go. And so all of this is a major aspect to how the body has time to get everything that it needs. It has the time to process it correctly. And so those neurotransmitters have to be made in the brain and in the GI system. And so if we're eating too much, if we're eating 3 meals a day, which of course has never been proven by science, but just think about it based on what we're talking about. All those things that I said we have to do. Imagine eating breakfast, and then you're snacking on something, and you move to lunch, and then you're snacking on something, and then you move to dinner, and you're having another snack before you go to bed at night. These people that talk about eating 5 meals a day or eating 7 meals a day, there's no time for the body to do all the things that's necessary to be done that's supposed to happen in between meals. And so, yes, these neurotransmitters are very important. The way that it connects with the brain. There are a lot of studies that are coming out now that are talking about certain type of foods and the mood of a person. So depression and anxiety and mood swings and bipolar and all that kind of stuff can sometimes come from bad foods. And so all of these systems are so intricately together. And that's why I don't remember what show it was, but I was talking about a show and I said, nobody would want me to go in their $100,000 car and take out your carburetor, take out your fuel pump. If we were to take any organ out of this body, the body is no longer one unit working all together. You just dismantle the whole aspect of that. So when we're talking about these systems and the way that they work together, they work perfectly. And there's nothing that can beat when they're in tune. And I've never seen anything that puts it in tune like How to Eat to Live. But it says his device is not connected. It says your guest will not need to connect their mic before you can add them. I know. Yeah, it's saying his mic is not connected.
Okay, so we're trying to figure out how to get your mic.
I apologize, y'all. We're trying to get the guests in, and we're having little problems with some technical difficulty. So I'm just going to keep answering your questions until we get my brother on. Okay, good teaching, good teaching. Thank you all. Chef Del Sauce, we must get How to Eat to Live book 1 and 2 into every household. If you have your own products, let us know so we can support you, Sir Chef Daryl Muhammad. Yes, yes, yes. Paul, thank you for coming in. My brother T. Farrell, the Hornets kill bees. Like I said, I mean, for everybody that's talking about these hornets and these bees, y'all, I don't have any. I haven't seen anything. I haven't read anything. I don't know anything about it. So I'm gonna have to address that at another time, if you all don't mind. Yeah, Kennard Young says peanuts tear up the digestive tract. Yeah, when you eat foods like peanuts and other things of that nature that are very hard, even potato chips and things of that nature. All of you probably can, those of you who have eaten chips, you can bear witness that if you eat chips for a period of time, the next day you feel cuts in your mouth. You can rub your tongue across areas where those potato chips have scratched things inside of your mouth. Well, what's happening when it goes down into your esophagus and your stomach? Those hard things scar up and mess up our insides of our GI system. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad tells us that that's how you get sores. That's how you get ulcers. That leads to cancer. And I can bear witness. I've done a lot of endoscopies where I stick a tube down people's throat. I've done a lot where I stick it up the other end and doing flexible sigmoidoscopies and colonoscopies. I was very good at that. And I did that for many, many years. And I've seen a lot of inside of people's bodies. So that's why How to Eat to Live made so much of a profound effect on me. Is because when I would sit and I would read what he said, I had the experience to tie to that reality. I've looked in stomachs. I've seen what it looked like when they're scratched up. I've seen early cancer. I've diagnosed people by putting that tube with the camera on it up in their rectum and looking in there and say, oh, damn, look at that. That looks like cancer. And they're in surgery next couple of days later, getting that cancer taken out of them. I mean, these are experiences that I've had. And so when I read How to Eat to Live, I tell you all, sometimes it's very difficult to take the years and years of experience and put it into an easy way. But I pray that I'm attempting to strive to do that to the best of my ability. I'm going to go ahead and pass all these hornet and bee conversations, y'all, because like I said, I'm going to have to come back. Taylor may say, I appreciate the information, however it comes. Yes, ma'am. Kaiser Rosier said, I also started a garden under your tutelage. I also have a worm compost. Wow. Man, y'all putting all this fire up in me. Garden and a worm compost. Well, you guys are we're going to have to show. I am already planning a show, y'all. And we're going to have to do it after Ramadan because I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long it's going to take. But all of you that are saying things like that to me, I want you to remember, right? Because sometimes in these shows, I'm not like taking notes, but I want you all to come back and let me know. We're going to have another testimonial Tuesday where I'm going to have all my people from the past, because the last time we did that, I had bad reception and we had a lot of disconnection issues. But I'm going to bring everybody back for that show, and all of you that are doing your gardens, we're going to have this conversation, y'all, because this is the way that we're going to build our network, right? And build a reality and how we go into the future and continue to have all these benefits. But hey, look, if there's anything that I did to inspire you all I can say is praise to God, right? Because a doctor that was trained in this medical system and practicing medicine the way I used to, I wouldn't have been telling you guys these things. So I'm just so thankful, man. Y'all about to make me do shows at least for the rest of the year, right? Aaliyah Muhammad, one of my top ones. Thank you, man, for coming in. April Muhammad says, I've taken your advice alone. I no longer blend my bean soup. Still love it. Thank you. Wow. Well, that's beautiful. That is a wonderful thing right there, because, my personal viewpoint on blended bean soup is that, of course, it still gives much nutrition, but there's something about this chewing power. There's something about the fact that Allah put teeth in this mouth, in this head, right? That is for us to break down that food. And as we're breaking down that food, that system that I just finished talking about, that perfect system, that saliva does something that a blender can't do. And so that's wonderful, sister. I'm glad to hear that. I would like to know if, if you are, doing like I talked about a few minutes ago about making sure you're doing your inventory and paying attention to yourself. I hope we get a testimony from you on whether or not you see any different. That would be very interesting to hear. Thank you very much for that testimony. Gerald Esposito, keep them coming. I learned a lot. Yes, sir. That's my plan. As long as I have breath, I got to continue to come back and pour myself out to you all, like the example of the man that's standing in front of us, right? Minister Louis Farrakhan. I mean, I was almost walking in Detroit crying like a little baby during Savior's Day just to know that he has torn meniscus. I've only had one surgery in my life, and that's on my shoulder. I tore it up playing basketball one time. And I just tore a ligament. And the pain was so severe. I mean, when it first happened, it hurt really bad, but I got up and I kept playing. But the next day, I couldn't even move my shoulder. I couldn't lift it. I couldn't do anything. And because it was torn, they had to go in there and they had to reattach it. But to sit and listen to the minister say that he has torn meniscus in both knees, and he stands up and he pours his heart and soul out to us to help benefit our life. That's type of example. That's the example that I have. So, as long as God continues to give me the ability to come back and give you all what will help your life, I pray that he keeps giving me the spirit and the desire and the ability to continue to come back. Because, I've been in the Nation of Islam 10 years. The minister has been teaching longer than I've been alive. So I'm just getting started. So I pray that the ideas that I have in this mind and the plans that I have to help our people all over this country and all over this world, I'm praying every day that I live long enough to see them all in fruition. And maybe one day I will tell you all what the minister said to my face one day that just, blew me away. Let me just tell this testimony real quick, if you all don't mind. As a member of the Nation of Islam, there are people that we hold in very high esteem, right? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Louis Farrakhan, Mother Tainetta, Brother Akbar Muhammad, who else? Brother Jabril, Brother Thomas Jihad. We could go on, but these are the people that this nation was built on their backs, and we stand on those shoulders. If it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be us. I have a father that was really involved in helping the Black community. He was in the 50s and the 60s. He was in Southern California in San Diego, and he was an integrationist. He was married to a white woman. He believed in integration. He believed in that was the way. And so he married a white woman, doing, work down in San Diego. He integrated a golf course down there and a few other things. And then in 1964, he went to hear Malcolm X speak in Los Angeles. And on his way back to San Diego, which is about a 2.5 hour drive, he decided that he was going to divorce his white wife and start working with the Nation of Islam. And as I was coming up as a small child, I remember hearing the stories of them putting a bomb in my father's car, them coming to my house one night. Of course, I don't know anything about this. I'm a small child, or I wasn't born yet, but they came to my house one night and the police were calling for my father. And they had the lights blaring at the house, and my father really couldn't see. My father was reaching for a gun. And my mother said, "Hey man, leave that gun there." Went out into the front of the house, had his hands up, but there were like 8 or 9 or 10. I don't remember exactly how many. My mother knows the story, but there were many police officers with their guns pointed at my father. If he had walked out there with that gun, he would have gotten killed. For what reason? Because he was trying to promote the Nation of Islam in Riverside, California, because he thought that was good for his people. He thought that was something that benefited his life. And so these people have gone out here and suffered for us to be where we are. And so it never matters to me what people think about me personally. That's the foundation of my life. My mother and father suffered. I watched them do things for the community. As a little boy, my father used to have the Muhammad's fish and the Muhammad Speaks. And we used to go around our community and sell that. That was our little hustle when we were young. You know, I'm sure it was helping my dad out too, but that was our little hustle. Whatever we did, he gave us a little chips off of that. But I remember people saying just mean things about my dad. Your dad was good until he joined that damn Nation of Islam. We respected your dad until he became a Muslim. You hear these type of things as a young child, and as a child, you want to like beat these people down. You know what I mean? But as an adult, you start to look at this like, man, the harder we work, it seems like sometimes the more opposition we get. But at the end of the day, you all, these are the foundational principles of my life. The foundational principles of my life is to give. And sometimes, you know, I can sometimes give too much. I don't know if there's a reality, but I sometimes think I give too much. But at the end of the day, I'm saying all that to say that the people that have led me and influenced me to be in the situation that I am in today, I'm so thankful. You know, I told a story on Brother Joshua's podcast about all the things that I did that could have ruined my ability to become a doctor. So I can't sit and take all the credit for this. The things that you all are hearing come out of my mouth sometimes, I go back and I listen. I'm like, man, where did that come from? When did I study that? Man, I read that like 15 years ago. How did I bring that up? And so it's a gift. It's God working through me. And all I can say is thank you. You know, so yes, as long as I have breath, I believe, and I believe in every soul and every inch and every cell in my body, I'm going to continue until I see Black people doing much better, right, in general. But, you know, when it comes to health, that's, of course, my concentration. And so I have a personal goal and a personal mission inside the mission of the Nation of Islam to resurrect our people, is to resurrect the health of the people in the Nation of Islam and Black people all over this world and people all over the world. That's my mission. Until there are centers around this country and around this world where people can walk in and you know that you are the primary reason and not how much insurance money we're going to get or how much money do you have to pay, right? Because, you know, those young sisters that I told you about on Facebook, I hope you all go check her out, Hon Min Muhammad, check out their little podcast. But they told a story about a patient that I had, a woman that was in the hospital right here in Houston, Texas, St. Luke's Hospital. It used to be my favorite hospital because I thought the nurses just did a wonderful job of taking care of my patients. My patients were always pleased, but this patient was pretty much told to go home and just live the rest of their life on hospice, meaning they pretty much said, hey, you ain't got no money, so go home and die. And on a year from that date, I started working with her. This woman reproduced all the blood vessels on her heart. Her heart function, when I went to see her, I think was less than 20. And a year later, her heart function was back to normal. So, these are the type of experiences that I've had. But what's the point I'm getting to? They were kicking her out the hospital because she couldn't pay. So, of course, we as physicians want to, you know, have a comfortable life. We worked hard to get where we are. But I personally would be happy if we had a system in this country that would be similar to Cuba. The doctors in Cuba don't necessarily, you know, drive the most expensive cars and live in the biggest houses. But my understanding with some of the ones that I've talked to personally is they never want for anything. I mean, you have a doctor that lives in a community and he helps take care, or she helps take care of some of those people. They never starve. They never have to worry about food. They never have to worry about any basic amenities because the people are going to look out for you. So that's more of a socialistic type of perspective. And we're used to capitalism in this society, but capitalism is something that we have to reconsider if everybody's not going to be able to be comfortable. I hope that makes sense. And I hope y'all understand. I apologize we weren't able to get Minister Ishmael today. We'll probably have to do it another time, but I thank you all for staying with me and listening to what I'm talking about, and that's just answering you all's questions. So I'm going to answer questions for a few more minutes, and then I apologize that things didn't work out today. We'll have to set it up for another day. I actually had planned for next week for us to have a program on midwifery. And we're also going to talk about this plasma thing that a lot of people are talking about, this plasma transfusion, where people that have had the coronavirus and actually fought it and actually made it out to hospital. A lot of people are saying and hearing talk about, going back to the hospital and having that plasma removed from you to give it to other people to help them fight. For the majority of us, I would say that that's not a good idea. And I and Brother Tariq are going to come back and talk about that next week. That's the plan. I'm going to have to talk to Minister Ishmael, see if he's still available, and we'll have to try to, rearrange things. But again, I apologize. So let me get to the questions, and then I have to go ahead and break my fast because I haven't eaten since Sunday, y'all. Chantel Muhammad, thank you for coming. You said towards the end of Honorable Minister Farrakhan's lecture entitled "How to Eat to Live," he states that the tea can be consumed. However, tea is not mentioned in either book. Well, thank you, sister. I know you are How to Eat to Live scholar, as I am attempting to be. And so I don't remember the minister mentioning that in that lecture, but if she says it, I trust it. So yes, we can drink tea, brothers and sisters. So there you go. And I agree, it's not mentioned in either book. I didn't remember it was, but now that I'm reading book 2 again, I was going to justify that. I can tell you all something. Follow Chantel Muhammad, because she's going to put out some stuff about how to eat to live. So follow her on Facebook. She's always doing these wonderful posts, and I know she's striving to follow that lifestyle. Okay, what else we got? Thank you all for the compliments. Daniel Guzman, wa alaikum salam, Ramadan Mubarak Kareem, bro. If you haven't already, can you speak on the colloidal silver and what it doesn't do in regards to COVID-19? Yeah, I don't really think colloidal silver does anything actually for COVID-19, but I know it boosts the immune system, and I take that back. Colloidal silver has been studied that when it is in the solutions of the body, right? Solution just means water. When it's in the small amounts that we need it in the body, it actually will help, like the young brother said at the beginning of the show, it actually can help break down the cell wall of a bacteria. So it strengthens the cell walls of the cells of the body, but it will attack the cell walls of bacteria and viruses and things of that nature. So colloidal silver is very good. In the small amounts that we need it in the body, it boosts the immune system as well as it attacks things that are attacking us. So it actually is very good. I think I went a little bit in detail on that on the Navy bean lecture. So if you get a chance, check that out. Tony Holden Muhammad, wa alaikum salam. Etta Purcell, since listening to you, I have added navy beans and ginger turmeric tea, made some today to my diet, and purchased sea salt yesterday. Thank you for all the good information. Well, thank you, ma'am. Those of you who listen to the suggestions and you go and you start doing them, that gives me so much pleasure and so much satisfaction. Leroy Muhammad says, my son turned Aman introduced my daughter and I to you, and I can definitely say that you have positively influenced us. I now only eat healthier, but I not only eat healthier, but I eat once every other day. Wow, let me give you a hand clap. Thank you, Sister Leroy, for that wonderful testimony. Courtney Portier says, get him, black man. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but thank you. Khalida Muhammad, thank you for coming in. Wa alaikum salam, Ramadan Mubarak Kareem. Gerald Esposito, does raw milk cause mucus? And if so, is that mucus healthy? You said mucus is not bad, but are mucus causing foods bad for us? I drank a little raw milk for the first time. Oh, well, great. Glad you drank milk for the first time. Does it cause mucus? Absolutely. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that all good foods do have some poisons in them. They have some toxins. And when you drink the milk, it's true for that too. But what I have done to do the experiment on myself is I don't drink raw milk straight. I do it with smoothies. I don't like the taste of milk, so I blend it with some fruit, put some honey or some sugar in it, and I drink it that way in smoothies. And once I finish drinking it, I get a little bit of mucus at the top of my mouth. I may have to just and spit it out maybe once or twice. But when I go and I buy pizza from some of these horrible places and eat ice cream out in public sometimes, I mean, that mucus is thick, thick, thick for a long period of time in your mouth. And so I want you all to do your own evaluation and see if what I'm saying makes sense. The benefits of milk are so great that little bit of mucus that you make is just that little bit of toxin that Donald Elijah Muhammad tells us that's going to be in every food. And so our immune systems, our body are able to handle that little bit of a problem. But it's like what I always say, right? When I say that in the practice of medicine, it's just playing the odds, right? When we give a certain antibiotic, when we put you on a certain medication, when we decide to do a certain procedure, when we decide to do a certain surgery on you, it's playing the odds. We say, what are the benefits? What are the risks? If my risks are 80%, it's going to be something positive, and there's a 20% chance you might have something bad, I'm willing to accept that. And that's the same way we have to look at these good foods that we're eating. And I would not say 80-20%. I would say when it comes to milk, it's probably 98% good and maybe 2% bad, or 99% bad and maybe 99% good and maybe 1% bad. That's how I would look at that. And so, yes, a little bit of mucus, but believe me, it's not that the milk is causing mucus. It's that whatever is in it that needs to be stopped, whatever's in it that needs to be assessed, the body makes mucus, right? I talked about that in the program. We have mucus forming sinuses here, behind the nose, and here in the cheek. And they make mucus. When you blow your nose, it's these sinuses that are making mucus. For what? To gather things that I don't want. And do what? The mucus is the conduit by which we blow it out, spit it out, cough it out. Make sense? So mucus is not a bad thing. Mucus is the travel mechanism by which your immune system gathers, kills, collects, and then that's how we get it out. Okay? So look at mucus as a good thing if you are doing good things. If you're doing a whole lot of bad things, then too much mucus in your body is just a sign that you're doing too much bad. Eunice Johnson, are raw vegetables good for you? Absolutely not. All vegetables should have some heat attached to them so you can break down the anti-nutrients. I go in detail in that in optimal vegetarianism without supplementation, as well as my 2 programs on the science of eating. So please check those out if you can. Coffee helps to induce I can't see. Okay, so Minister Ishmael said he was not able to get in the show. I apologize, everybody, but he did say that he will be available for next Tuesday. So I'm going to have to make the adjustments for the other guests, or I'll start at 6 and we'll have a longer show. How about y'all let me know what you would like? Would you like me to do a longer show and get both in next week? Because I think it's really important for us to have this midwifery conversation with this vaccine thing coming down the pike. We have to have a conversation, brothers and sisters, and I really pray that everybody reaches out and get as many young ladies, as many pregnant women, and as many women that are expecting to have children in the future to come on this show. It's a very serious conversation we need to have about considering a midwife, having your child at home. A hospital is not a safe place to have your child. I've been in the system for 25 years. I hope you can trust my word. We need to start promoting our people to have children at home in the confines of your house, in the comfort and the cleanliness and the comforts and the normalcy of your house, not in a place where you can potentially get iatrogenic problems, diseases and complications, and they're trying to rush you out to hospital or rush you to have your baby. That is not what we should be doing in one of the greatest experiences that is on this earth. Being in the room when my children were brought into this earth is right up there with being at the Million Man March, meeting the minister, marrying my wife, Tawana Muhammad, graduating from medical school. I mean, these are things that happen in my life that are, I mean, some of the, sometimes I can't even really put words on. And so we shouldn't take something that's that grand and that great and that potential with it and let it be ruined by somebody because they're rushing you or don't want to treat you right, or your insurance is not right. So now you might have to go somewhere else, go to the poor hospital. Hey, let's start having that conversation. So you all do me a favor. Sometime this week, very early, I will send out information on whether or not we're going to do a combined show or we'll have to just move some things around. But again, I apologize for the confusion today, you all, but at least I got a chance to answer your questions. Solomon Tafari says, coffee helps to induce autophagy. Not sure if tea does the same. Haven't seen any studies on that. The studies that I've seen is that, yeah, the caffeinated ones will do the same thing because it's actually the caffeine and the way it works on the system that's mostly responsible for that. And there are some good things in teas, like some of the green teas and some of the black teas. There are some good things, but I don't know necessarily if outside of the caffeine, if things in tea and things in coffee are the same, because they do have some different things. Of course, your teas that come from leaves and your coffee's coming from a bean. So there are going to be some different qualities that those things do. We'll have to get into those at another time. T. Farrow says, I planted dinner, navy beans. They're growing faster than all of the other crops. Well, wow. Yeah, man, keep us updated on that. Because my plan, I just put some navy beans in some dirt a couple days ago, see what I can get out here. So yeah, this is the type of conversation we got to have, because we got to be able to share with each other so we can make it through these faminous days. I just made up a word, right? Faminous, through these famine days that are coming. Everybody else can make up words. Why not us? Yeah, that's a good point. The only book that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote where there are 2 parts is How to Eat to Live. That's a pretty profound idea. Kanar Young said, just came to me what was said on Doing the Math in regards to killer hornets. All right, I'm gonna pass the killer hornets comments, y'all. Baby beans. Okay, gardening is life. Absolutely. When you get your hands down in that dirt, it brings you a whole different grounding. I mean, it re-energizes your body. I was talking to somebody just yesterday about this process that I do after my workout. Sometimes I'll take my shoes and my socks off, put my feet on the ground or grass, and I sit and just go through these different things. It's like what the lady calls it, a Reiki therapy. I put my hands on certain parts of the body, and you just close your eyes and you're just breathing in. It's a comforting, calming. I'll put the link in it so you all can check it out. But that's what I do to ground myself, and that's a thing that a lot of scientists and a lot of research around the world in a lot of different Aboriginal societies around the world, when you start putting your hands in dirt and when you start communing with the earth and things of the earth, it brings you a different sense of peace, a different calm, a different communication. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I love being in that dirt. The messenger said, once you get eating once or twice a week, you don't go back. He also said in ancient days, when the old preachers got up in the earth age, they wanted to leave this earth, they just started eating more. Absolutely. That's right. Yes. Yeah, I agree, bro. The suffering that the minister's doing is heartbreaking. But he's setting the stage for us, all of us that are looking at him. He's not setting that example for us to be cowards. He's not setting that example for us to be running from our responsibility. I always talk about the fact that I would like to live to 200 plus, if it's Allah's will, because I know that would prove so much of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is saying, and I don't see anybody else out here trying to prove it, so why not me? But if I have to lose my life, if I have to sacrifice my life to follow his lead, I pray that any of these young people that I have influence over and or my children are 1,000 times harder on our enemy than I ever have been. Thank you, Gary Jackson. Daryl Austin says, you are one of the unwrapped gifts for our nation, our people. Well, praise to God, bro. That's a beautiful compliment, and I appreciate it. Daniel Guzman asks, are you familiar with chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy? Yes, I am. Reach out to me personally, please, so we can discuss that. Okay, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get up off of here. I just kind of passed by all the comments. So again, look, I appreciate you all spending a little time. I don't like to waste people's time, so I hope I didn't waste anybody's time. I'm appreciative of the fact to be able to answer some of you all's questions. But when I market something and I tell you that we're going to have a certain person, I like to keep my word. And I kind of feel a little deflated today because I wasn't able to get the Minister Ishmael on. But again, we'll make it up to you. And, it was a little out of my control. So, I again apologize. But I'm glad you got some news that you can use. I'm glad that there were some people that, lifted my spirit back up, because hearing your great testimonies and, some of the good things that you all have to say, it's not why I do what I do. But, anytime you get a little praise for what you do, it does feel good. So I'm thankful. I'm appreciative, and I will continue to come back and do this. I see somebody says, how can they reach out to me? I'm going to put all the sites up, and right before I get off, I'll put my information. Let it scroll down here on the bottom. Okay, there's my information down on the bottom. But thank you all for tuning in on this Tuesday to the Ultimate Wellness Group Transformation Tuesday. I pray that you got some news that you can use. There you go. There's weather out here. You see the lights going out. I think that's the foundation of what our problems were today. But I thank you all for spending some of your time with us. I pray that this is a place that you can come, that you can trust. And if you do feel that way, please continue to tell other people about the show. Every Tuesday during Ramadan, we're going to come on at 6. Please look out this week. I will let you know if we're going to come on a little earlier, because if we combine shows, we may have to come in a little earlier to make sure that we get everything, because I would rather do a long show and make sure that you all get quality information than to try to bunch everything in a shorter period of time and then shortchange you all by not giving you the type of information that could change your life. So again, thank you, everybody. Remember, in a society like we live in, it takes hard work to have good health. And if you're coming on these programs and you're putting in that work, you're seeing what I'm talking about. So let's keep working hard. Let's keep our minds strong. Today was about spiritual mental health. And some of those young people that I put on earlier in the show, I know they invigorated me to produce some of the things that I'm working on, but they also just invigorate me to know that the work that we're doing, the work that the minister has done, is not in vain. We have generations coming that are going to take what we're doing to a whole nother level. And I want to see and live long enough to see it happen. And I also want to live long enough to see our reality become the dominant thought process and not the enemy's. All right. So you all have a wonderful rest of your week. I thank you. And lastly, I apologize again. We're going to continue to get better and continue to make our shows better and better as time goes forward. So thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Hope you all have a wonderful meal today as you're breaking your fast. Ramadan Mubarak. Peace.